Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Reel Junkies. I'm your host, Farron. Here again with my man Vito, doing a What You Watching for a show that has taken streaming audiences by storm right now. Welcome to Derry, which I was excited for when it was announced, but even when I was excited for it, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I liked the movies, especially the first one, more so than Chapter 2. But this show, I think, is better than both of those. And it is something that I'm really excited to see what they do with season 2 and 3. Andy Muschietti, who also directed the films, directed a few of the episodes here. And the show is essentially a prequel to the films, essentially. Follows a lot of the people who are tied to characters from the first movie, but with their younger selves or maybe family members of characters from the first film and their encounters with Pennywise and what that experience was like with them. And I have to say, we're in an era now of streaming shows where a lot of them have film quality or close to film quality in terms of production, in terms of scale, character moments, attention to detail with the script. And this is one that feels about as close to that as you can get in a TV show format. Like, it felt like I was watching almost like a blockbuster film, just in an 8-episode format. And I think the fact that that's become the norm now with streaming television is a win for
No, it's
what
not.
the what why do you say that?
8 episodes? I'm guessing they're an hour long though, right?
Yeah, each episode, you got it, like I said, it's more this we're not talking like your standard, you know, in season, or 10 is kind of a lot of seasons, but maybe like 8 to 9 season running episode TV shows. This is a more self-contained story based on a movie.
I will say
And
this.
the show is also there to serve a lot of aspects of the movie as well. I will say that. Like, if you've watched the movies and appreciate the films and then watch this show, the show enhances the experience of those movies. So that's why in this instance I don't mind it. But I do get the complaint you're making though.
Because you get, again, we back in the day, you would get fucking 24 episode seasons,
Yeah.
hour long, and you might get like 7, 8 seasons out of that.
Yeah.
At a minimum you get 2. You
Yeah.
know, and that's the 7, 8 is the low number. This shit that got 26. Look at fucking Grey's Anatomy. She got like 20 seasons.
Yeah. Facts.
I don't know if it's 24 episodes, but I know it's a lot more than 8 and 10.
Yeah.
I would be and my problem with these shows is like I said, I haven't seen Welcome to Derry. Y'all already know how I feel about horror movies and horror things. If somebody really pulls my leg, I'll watch one. Outside of that, I don't have that interest to scare myself. I don't.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
funny.
that ain't your bag.
But um I'll use the Daredevil Born Again for 8 episodes, hour long, and great, great show, great season. But at the end, it just left us wanting more.
Mhm.
And that's that's fine if you're gonna give us fucking 10 seasons. But when you give us fucking 4 or 5 seasons of 8 episodes, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, man, we know you could have done more. We know you got the material. You might as well have did it. Go ahead, push it to 10 to 12 episodes. Because that 8 episode is just every time. That's 2 months.
Yeah.
That's 2 months of shows, and that's if they're releasing it every week.
Yeah.
Because I think a few shows do it where they'll release the first 2 or 3 episodes at once, and then
Mhm.
they'll release every week, and then they'll
Mhm.
release the last 2 episodes at the same time. So you
Yeah.
might not even get a full fucking 2 months out of it. You might get a month, maybe a month and a week.
Mhm.
So it just leaves you wanting more, and then also the time that it is taking for shows to come out after they premiere.
That is a thing I'll give you, because
Look at
that
Stranger
is becoming an
Things.
issue.
I don't
Stranger Things, I'll give you a little bit of a pass only
I get
because of
them
the
a
strikes. The
yeah, I
strikes
give
is
them
the
a
reason
little
why,
grace,
but
but
still, even still, that doesn't negate the impact of
'cause
waiting that
it
long.
was still other shit coming out.
Yeah.
They were literally making movies during that time.
Yeah.
And I know it's
Yeah.
like contract stuff they gotta deal with, but at the same time, Stranger Things, P-Valley, it's something else that I started watching, and the season ended, Euphoria, like, all these fucking shows that we're watching, I'm like, "Okay, well, it's been 3 years since that season ended." The
Yeah.
show already like, it was good to me, but it wasn't that good to where I'm like, "Oh, I have to watch this shit."
Yeah, I'm waiting 3, 4 years for the next season, still
Right.
excited, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like
So
plot details get forgotten, people aren't as invested anymore. You start to lose parts of your audience just off
yeah.
of disinterest at that point. Yeah.
And no telling what the actors are going through at this time. Motherfucker, what if somebody pull a Kevin Spacey during that time?
Yeah, facts. You don't know what's gonna happen with any of your actors.
That
They
shit's never
somebody could
coming
be
out again.
popular one day, and then a couple years from now, you never know what could
Look
happen. That's
look
real.
at the shit that's going on with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah,
Motherfuckers talk about they don't even wanna watch it. Again, I don't wanna watch the shit because it's taking so long. Multiple actors have died
yeah,
during that shit. They killed characters off, so now it's like, okay, well, what are you gonna do when this happens? How are we
yeah,
gonna approach this?
yeah.
Like I said,
That's
man,
fair.
give us a few more episodes. Okay.
Yeah,
10 to 12, I think is a sweet spot. I think 8 is really like y'all
yeah,
being cheap as fuck.
yeah. The reason why I don't mind it, particularly with this show, is because each episode is very intentional, and it each episode serves a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And they make the most out of the time that they use in each of the 8 episodes. Like you said, each episode is about an hour long. Some of them are, a little over an hour. So they make the most out of that time usage to where, like, by the time you're done with episode 8, obviously I want more because of the quality of the show. The show is really good. Like, one of the best shows, if not the best show I've seen all
I've
year. It's
heard
up
good
there.
things.
It's
I've
up
heard
there with one of the best shows I've seen all year. But by the end of it, I wasn't wanting more in the sense that, like, it felt like there was parts left incomplete, or it didn't feel like the story was fully fleshed out. Like, they did everything they had to do in those 8 episodes, and it was a very concise, self-contained story, to where I'm pretty sure season 2 and season 3 are going to be prequels to this. They're even going to go further back in time, like with people who've encountered Pennywise, because Pennywise has been in the town of Derry, Maine for like centuries, or like that. He's been in Derry, Maine for a long time before
when does
people
this
were
take
even there.
place?
So the prequel takes place in, I think, the early 60s, like 61, 62. And then the first It movie, I want to say, is late 80s. So it's a pretty far back prequel. I mean, obviously not too far back, because you have parents and relatives of the children from the first film in this, like, as their kids. So, you know what I'm saying? It's still close enough to where there's some ties to the first movie, but it's very much its own self-contained
What
story.
about the newer movies? When do they take? They're present day, right?
No, so no, they're like 80s. I
Oh,
think
it's still
I think the first It movie was like late 80s, and then It 2, they were adults, so probably like mid to late 90s, I'd have to say.
okay.
Yeah, they were fully grown in It Chapter 2,
So
so it had to have been like mid to late 90s.
wait, so it I'm sorry, I thought it was I thought so it is the original It, and then it's It 2, which is the one with Bill Skarsgård.
Okay, oh, you're talking about the original 1990s one.
No, no, I'm
Is
talking
that
about
what
the
you're talking?
current one.
The current ones take place like in the 80s
Okay,
and
but
90s,
it's still
yes.
It, and then It 2. So it's
Yes.
a remake, not a
Yeah,
continuation.
well, I think the original 1990s one is like a mini series, not a film.
Okay.
So then the movies basically just took that story, I think, and split it into two pieces, because it is based off of a Stephen King novel.
Mhm.
So the novel, I think, tells the entire story of like them from being kids to adults and how they take on Pennywise. So the films, the current ones with Bill Skarsgård, just took that story, split it into chapter 1 with them being kids, and then
Oh,
chapter
okay.
2 with them being adults.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so that was the way they approached it.
Curry, man.
Yeah, shout out Tim Curry. Shout out Tim Curry, but, and maybe I'm biased because I didn't grow up watching the Tim Curry one. I grew up. I was 18 when that first one came out, but you get the point. Like, that was it that I
Ain't you damn
first
near 30,
encountered.
man?
Huh?
Ain't you damn near 30,
Shut up. Yeah, aren't you actually 30 now? Since we want to play that game, nigga.
man?
You thought this was what Unk try to call you, Unk? Like, you up there your damn self. But nah, I think Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise is a more accurate depiction of what Pennywise actually is, because he's not really a clown.
Right.
Like, that's just the form he chooses to take. But Pennywise is like a cosmic being. Like, he comes from space. He's like, I don't want to say almost like he's like an entity, basically. Like, he's a
It,
cosmic entity. You could call him that.
it said obviously I'm on Wikipedia, so
Yeah.
obviously take with a grain of salt, but also it's probably
Yeah.
for the most for the most
For the
part.
most part.
He is a ancient transdimensional
Eh, Yeah, that word is.
entity who preys upon children. Fictional time. I don't think it. Oh wait, using a variety of supernatural powers that include abilities of shapeshifting and manipulating.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and he shapeshifts into literally anything, and he feeds off of fear. That is like when because he eats his victims. So when he's eating his victims, like fear is like Laurie's lemon pepper, like that's his seasoning. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what
So
gets it together. The
he
fear
like
is what
transdimensional. He's like from a transdimensional Atlanta.
almost, yes, yes. That's a good way of looking at it. He's like a very like lower tier of like the cosmic entities. So I guess like the other cosmic entities banished him to Earth. This is like from the books. They don't really go into this in the
That's what I was gonna
films or the
ask.
TV shows. This is just from my own research of like digging into the source material. But like he was cast down to Earth basically in the meteorite in the area. Like this was before people, before the time of people. And landed in the area that eventually went on to become Derry, Maine, and he's just essentially haunted this town ever since. And he wakes up every 27 years to feed on the children there. Now the show goes into that origin and why why he has to go to sleep for 27 years and what his limitations are, because he encountered a Native American tribe when he first encountered people, and they ritualistically did some things to keep him in prison in Derry so he doesn't just run amok all over Earth. That's why he can't leave the town of Derry, Maine. But I do really like how this show went into Pennywise's backstory a lot more and gave you a lot more details about what he is and showing you like he's more than just the clown. That's the form he likes to take the most. And they go into that in this show as well, on like why the Pennywise form is so special to him. Because obviously he hunts kids. That's his prey. I mean, he'll eat adults too, but kids are his first prey. That's who he's going after first.
Hey, did you see? It's a it's a clip on TikTok, and they're like, it's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm here to feed the kids. And they're like, and they're like running from him. He's like, I don't want you. I'm here for the
The
kids. He's
kids.
like, he turns around. He's like, oh, he's like, no, not like that. He's like, I'll eat an adult, but I love the kids. And they're
Like,
like, ah!
whoa. No, that's nuts.
If I
But
find it,
that
I'll send it again. The shit is
yeah.
funny as fuck. But the question I got a few questions. I know we talked about, I want you to answer this one because I know it's going to go deeper into the show. But you said
Okay.
this, we'll talk about why people don't leave the town
Yeah.
because they can't, some reason they can't, whatever. But
It's
then
yeah.
also, my question is, you say he goes to sleep for 27 years. How
Mhm.
long is he up when that happens?
I don't they so in the show they refer to it as like a cycle. So the creature has like a cycle of like when it hunts essentially, but I don't remember them going into how long the cycle is. They just say there's a cycle, he wakes up every 27 years and for this set period of time he hunts and feeds and then he goes back to sleep for another 27 years.
So what happens when him and Jeepers Creepers wake up at the same time?
Then you're cooked. Then you are absolutely like, there's
or
what are we
or
talking about?
do they fight each other? Can we get a Jeepers Creepers? I watch that shit. Jeepers Creepers versus Pennywise.
I got my money on Pennywise. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I got my money on Pennywise.
Because he's a transdimensional entity, and then Jeepers Creepers is a alien from God, but no.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'd have my money because Pennywise can't really be killed, honestly. Like, which is part of like a lot of when you see Pennywise get defeated in the films of the movie, it's very like it's rituals or things that keep him contained or imprisoned or things that weaken him, but nothing that really like straight up kills him. Really, that's like he's not really can't really be killed, which is part of what makes him so difficult to handle. And I want to say one thing I do appreciate. Well, appreciate might not be the right word, but one thing I do like that they did with Pennywise in the show versus the films is they made him a lot more brutal, which is why I don't want to say the word appreciate because
I've
he
heard like this
slimes
shit has
some of
been
these kids
crazy.
out bad. Like if you don't, and I get it, like everybody has their thresholds of what they can watch on screen. If you're not comfortable with watching children get tortured and like brutally killed, do not watch this show because they
I
do
ain't gonna
not
lie,
hold
it's a little
back.
crazy. You like getting
Yeah,
tortured and killed.
yeah, yeah. Like that's why I was like, appreciate probably might not be the right word to
This
use.
nigga getting
Like,
excited about tortured children.
yeah,
What's
but
wrong with
like
you, nigga?
but yeah, no, that's some sick ass shit. But like in the context of the character Pennywise, like that's what he would be doing, right? So to hold back on that or to, not give that to its full effect kind of hampers the impact of a character like Pennywise, because that's the point of him, right? So and it adds to the stakes for the main characters because they have their own kind of version of the Losers Club in this. The ragtag team of like some of the characters' parents from the first film with some newer kids as well. And the stakes are now risen for those characters because now you see, yeah, this Pennywise isn't holding back. He'll scare you a little bit here and there, but after a while, he's going to get his meal at the end of the day. Like after he only put in so much lemon pepper before he finally decides to chow down.
So is he actually eating them? Or is
Yes.
he like, okay, I thought he was like
Yes.
absorbing their soul or they fear or some shit. He's eating them.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Okay.
No. This is like when I say eating, I do mean literally eating. And like because like Pennywise is the clown is just a form. When he'll like do this thing where he like opens his entire head up to reveal like his actual true form, and it puts people in a trance. Like the human mind can't comprehend seeing Pennywise in his true form, so
So
it
they show it.
drives them insane. Yeah. No, you see Pennywise true form. You see it in the films as well. Yeah, no, they should I think they show Pennywise's true form towards the end of like the first film, the 2017 one. So that's something they've shown, routinely at this point throughout this current iteration of it with Bill Skarsgård. We've seen that a few times now. One thing I also did want to talk about is the pacing, not just of like each episode, but just the way the show moved with its reveal of Pennywise. Obviously, Pennywise is an interdimensional being. So any form you see him take, that's him. So we see him take different forms throughout the first few episodes of the season, especially episodes 1 through 4. We just see him take different forms outside of the clown, which I appreciated. They actually kind of waited and saved to build up to him actually being the Pennywise form that we know. And I think that slow build and kind of showing you the other aspects of how Pennywise likes to move and helping people understand that he is truly a shapeshifter. Like that clown form is not who he truly is, and giving you more a well-rounded scope of him as a villain and as an entity, I think is one of the best things the show did. This show really did a good job of taking what we know from the films and filling in the details from the books and source materials that they weren't able to put into the movies and sort of fleshing them out in this show a lot better. I think that was one of the best things the show accomplished. Character wise, I ain't gonna lie, they knocked out the park with this one. It follows mostly the Hanlon family, Leroy Hanlon, Charlotte Hanlon, and Will Hanlon,
I'm gonna
who
stop right now and give my the queen a shout out.
oh yeah, no, let's give Taylor Page a shout out. Absolutely. That was on my list. The Taylor Page shout out was on the list
It
because
was taking too long, dog.
yeah, I was taking too long to get to that point. That's fair. I dragged that one out, and she was one of the highlights of the show. Honestly, there's yeah. I mean, well, for more than just that reason, for more than the fact that she's fine, but her character is so. Just for context, this is in Derry, Maine. Obviously, the demographic in Derry, Maine is not filled with melanin. There's just not a lot of black folks walking around this town, and not a lot of black folks walking around Derry, Maine. So now, when you have this military officer, Leroy, moving in with his family,
The Leroy?
his name is
All
Leroy.
right.
His name is Leroy. Their level at which they're welcomed into the town isn't, it isn't really that high. They're
Not
not
the
really.
welcoming.
They're not very. Even though the show's called Welcome to Derry, they weren't really very welcomed when they first arrived, on the scene there. And Charlotte's character is more freedom fighter, civil rights activist leaning. And Leroy is a military official. So he's there trying to follow orders, trying to, rise up in the ranks. And then here's his wife over here. In his words, you're causing trouble. So it creates like an interesting dynamic between their characters. And I found myself kind of siding with her character a lot more throughout like their interactions as they were going forward. It's just like you see this town is messed up. You see that there's something wrong here. And you want me to just blindly sit around it with your, what I'm saying, aspirations of trying to elevate in the military and just say, oh, we have to follow orders or we have to stay in line or not cause too much of a scene because that can impact my career. When in reality, you brought us to this town that is clearly something's wrong, deeper than just the people. Because as time goes on, they start to realize like racism is not the only problem here in Derry that we have to deal with, which is another change of pace from the movies, where it kind of felt like the kids were on their own in their fight with Pennywise in the It films. This one, the adults are a lot more involved between the Will Hanlon's parents, the other children's parents, Ronnie. There's another black girl that's a part of I guess, the newer version of the Losers Club that's in this show. And then also the military personnel and another character who I should have mentioned a lot earlier than this, but Dick Halloran, who those of you who've seen The Shining know that's the black man from the Shining films that was guiding, young Torrance into understanding his powers and what the shine really is. He is a character, actually a key character in this movie. He plays a big role in how they end up defeating Pennywise. And just tying that Stephen King universe together, which we knew the Stephen King universe is interconnected, but to see it on screen like this is actually pretty cool. I never watched The Dark Tower, which I know is like one of the Stephen King films where they kind of referenced and tied in
That's the one with
different.
Idris Elba, right?
Yep, Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. I know, like that movie is supposed to be one that ties in a lot of the Stephen King universe because that Dark Tower is supposed to be like the center of what the Stephen King universe is. But I honestly really did appreciate the way they handled bringing in Dick Halloran and not just have him be a cameo character or hey, look, y'all seen The Shining, y'all remember him? Like, no, he was a core part of the story, like from start to finish. He was a key character. Other shout out because I'm glad we got Taylor Page out the way because that had to be addressed. But another performance shout out, I think Bill Skarsgård is putting his name in the hat as one of the best horror performers that we've had, and I'm talking like up there with the Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger's. Like I'm putting him up there in that conversation now. I think now through 3 performances, 2 movies, and this show, he's shown me enough as Pennywise that we need to start talking about Pennywise when we mention the higher ranking horror villains, your Mike Myers, your Jasons. Like when we start talking about those horror villains, I think Pennywise has inserted himself into that conversation now with
I
this
mean,
show and
and
how
look,
quality it was.
I think it would have to be because him doing this honestly because
Yeah.
but it was the miniseries before and that was it. And
Hmm.
I mean, obviously the books, but
As
on
far as on screen, yeah, you just
on
had the
screen
miniseries.
it was nothing. It was nothing of him. And then he came back and put out 2 movies and a TV show within like 5-10 years.
Hmm.
I mean, Freddy, Jason, Myers, they had 4 or 5 films in the 80s and 90s. You know,
Yeah, and their
not
remakes
including
weren't that great.
not including
I-
the crossovers and shit that they had. I did want to say though, Skarsgård family, these niggas
that's
are moving. Him,
yeah.
the Hemsworths, I think
The
we
Russells,
the who? Oh
the
yes, yes, yes.
Russells, yes.
But as far as like, it's not as many of the Russells though.
It's
So
not as
him,
many
him
though.
and his
Yeah,
son. But as
yeah.
far it's 3 of the Skarsgård brothers, it's 3 of the Hemsworth brothers.
Hmm.
It's a dad. What is he?
Um,
He's a Bill Skarsgård too, right? His dad.
yeah. The dad, I think the dad is the one in like Avengers
Yeah.
and
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But
was trying to remember what else he played in. I don't know why it's not coming to me.
this is something we used to see a lot in the 90s with like families being huge and acting and kind of just not even necessarily being in like major, like big blockbuster things, but they
Yeah,
were around. You would see them as what's the word I'm looking for? Not the main cast member. You see them as
co
co-stars. If you do see them as a main star, it probably wasn't. It was in theaters, but it wasn't a blockbuster.
yeah,
But you're starting to see that again. Not necessarily to the best, because I think we talked about last week how I don't think Chris Hemsworth is a big of an actor as he is. I
yeah.
don't think he should be getting as much shine. The Skarsgård
The
brothers,
Skarsgård brothers.
Skarsgård
Damn,
brothers, man, it's
hey,
early.
it's early. I
My
got you. I
brain not
got you.
working.
I got you. I got you.
I'm tired. I ate breakfast, man.
No, you just
uh,
you run it on fumes. I'm
Skarsgård,
with you there,
Skarsgård.
gang. I'm with you.
I
I'm
will
with you.
say their work. I would throw them over the Hemsworth brothers,
Hmm.
but because I don't want to say they're consistent, but they have a better catalog of movies that are good, great, or not even just movies. Acting. The first one, I don't even remember his name. He was on a show called Generation Kill. It was an
Hmm.
HBO miniseries about Marines deployed to Iraq for the first time. And he played a very just odd individual. And then you see him in another show, you're like, okay, wow. But it's acting. Meanwhile, you see Hemsworth or something, you're like, okay, he's Thor again, but with the gun. You know?
Yeah, like it's hard to see him outside of that role. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I gotta
That's
say. But
gonna
yeah,
start happening with Bill Skarsgård in a minute with this. Like, I think he's getting to the point now where he's Pennywise, and it's gonna be
it,
hard for people to see him as anything else.
I don't know if we reviewed this month, this movie. He was deaf or he was mute in the movie.
A Bill Skarsgård movie?
Boy Kills the World or something like that. It may have been something I just watched.
Yeah. No,
Um,
we haven't. I'm not sure.
but like,
I can't. I don't think I've seen what you're talking about. So that
the
might have
guy
been
that
just you.
plays Archer from Archer and
Hmm.
Bob's Burgers, he's a voiceover for this guy.
Okay.
And then he does Skarsgård does all the action in it. And he's mute.
Hmm.
And I don't even remember. It was a like you talk about 90s, 80s, 90s action movies. That's what
Hmm.
it felt like, you know. But I don't know, man. I gotta look back. I gotta look up his filmography real quick, and we can get back to that. Well, not really, but just for my own
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
But
It's
he's
just.
doing a he's I'll say, the fact that the things that I've seen him in, he's been been a good actor.
Hmm.
Obviously, I haven't seen this, but he's obviously doing a good job to have 2 movies, a TV show, and going into a 2nd season, and let's be honest, they're gonna give him a 3rd movie.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think they're gonna end it at the TV shows?
Yeah, only because there's not more source material to go off of to make a third movie. They'd have to create a completely original story because they've told the story up until the end of the books, from my knowledge, with It Chapter 2. So if you were going to do a third movie, I feel like you might as well have just did that. And honestly, if you were going to do that, you could have made this into a movie and just made it a prequel film. But I think it was smarter to make it as a show. And then thinking about what's rumored to be the stories of season 2 and 3, I think it's just best to leave this in TV show format. I don't
It's
think we
supposed to be
need
3
another.
seasons?
Yes. They're gonna go further back in time with each one. So I think the next season is probably gonna take place around like the 30s or 40s, and then the next one's gonna be even further back than that. So that's
Yeah,
basically how
so
they're
you know
handling it. Yeah, no, this was a period horror piece. This was anti you in every way. You were never gonna rock with this. Yeah, a period piece horror show that was never gonna work with you. I did not. No, I still haven't seen that.
He was in the remake of, The Crow.
But he did. He played Dracula in that, didn't he? Bill Skarsgård,
He
or am I
played
tripping?
Count Orlok.
Okay.
He was in Boy Kills the World. That's the one I was talking about.
Hmm.
John Wick 4. He was the Marquis. That's why
Yep. Yep.
I keep seeing his face and I couldn't remember it. And he was also in the Eternals. I do not remember him.
He was the villain in the Eternals, not Icarus, but the deviant, the main deviant villain.
So he was
Yeah.
he wasn't shown.
Yeah. No. It was a
He was a
completely
fake
CGI
CGI.
character. Yeah.
All right,
But
man.
that's
Well,
kind of been his
I
bag
think that's it.
lately. I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of been
CGI
his
and
bag.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it seems like, I ain't gonna say that right now. I'll leave it alone because like I say, you've seen it more of them. Because I've only Eternals and Pennywise are the only two I know of that he's been like in makeup or CGI heavy.
Well, I'm saying, like, as far as his high profile characters,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I feel like
so
that's
I guess I don't know. I mean, we need somebody else. Eddie
yeah.
Circus is getting old.
Yeah, Andy Serkis ain't doing it no more, so you kind of need someone else to kind of fill that role in Hollywood, and I think Bill Skarsgård is more than qualified to kind of take the baton on.
We're seeing more and more Eddie Circus in live action roles rather than
Yeah, which I didn't know how to feel
some
about when they
makeup.
started doing that, but I understand that makeup process does seem like a lot. So I don't blame an actor for going like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. But let's see. I feel like we've touched
Wills.
on
Shit.
some of the key points in the show so far. I do want to say there was one character I do need to kind of rant about. So I'm going to brief spoilers because if at this point I'm hoping you've at least seen the first episode of the show if you're watching this review. So episode
When did
one,
the last episode air?
last Sunday.
It's a TV show, man.
Yeah,
I say try and be cautious, but if a spoiler
yeah.
come out, it's not that. I think for
I'll
TV
just say
shows,
this. I'll say
you should have
this.
watched it.
In episode one, there is a scene in a movie theater. And if you've seen the show, what scene I'm talking about. There's a scene at the end in a movie theater where Bonnie and Lily, who are two of the new members of the Loser, which we're calling the Losers Club, or what I'm calling Losers Club 2.0 in this film. They and some other friends are at a movie theater because they're looking for their friend who went missing early season, first scene, season one, or episode one, he goes missing. And we know what happened to him. So they're trying to figure out what happened to their friend. They're in this movie theater. And then Pennywise starts doing Pennywise things. And not all of the children make it out of this movie theater in one piece.
Pennywise being previous.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not all of the kids make it out of this movie theater alive. So there's obviously Derry, Maine, which is a very anti-melanin town in the early 1960s. So some people still ain't got over them feelings. And the owner of said movie theater is a black man named Hank Grogan. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. They
So who do
blame
you
the nigga.
think gets blamed for 3 children or a group of children getting offed in a movie theater? It is Hank. So now Hank, and this is what sparks a lot of Charlotte Hanlon, who's Taylor Page's character. This is what sparks a lot of her social activism, is seeing what's being done to Hank's character. She's trying to clear his name because Hank has an alibi for the night that he was away from the movie theater. Like, he wasn't at the theater when that happened. He said, I was at, my mom's house. He actually wasn't at his mom's house. They were able to verify that he wasn't because a witness spotted him out that night, not near the movie theater, but out. So, the police caught him in a lie. The reason why he doesn't want to say what he was actually doing instead is because he was with a married woman who did not have a melanin complexion in the
Mm.
90s in Derry, Maine. So you're either gonna go to jail for offing these children, or you gonna get, strange fruited by the town of Derry, Maine. Those are your options. Hence why he's, conflicted on how he wants to proceed. So the town of Derry is after this dude because there's a point in the show where they're about to transport him to Shawshank, and there's a Shawshank reference in this because Stephen King has to reference all his other properties. And something happens with the convoy, and he escapes. So this is where I say I'm going into not too much spoiler territory, but I have to give y'all context on the why I hate this character. So that you've already put yourself in a lose-lose situation by owning a movie theater where some kids got offed and sleeping with a white woman in 1960s Derry, Maine. You're in a lose-lose situation. So now some people are actually putting themselves on the line to help you because they're hiding him out somewhere. A white mob finds out that he's being hidden in this place. They can't prove it. They're just on a hunch. They show up. The people trying to play it off like he's not there. This motherfucker gonna come out. It's me. I'm right here. Don't hurt these people.
Was this the sinners like?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It was that scene. And by you doing that, trying to help people,
Put all
you
these people
actually
at risk.
caused the very thing that you were trying to prevent. And he was a character I was very sympathetic towards the beginning of the show. But as the show went on and I just started to see his decision making and the stuff he was doing, I was like, it's really hard for me to root for you right now because every time you're doing something that makes me go like, you know what? Get this nigga, fine. Because like you keep putting yourself in these positions, you keep putting yourself in positions where it's like,
Sharon Moore, get it together.
Like it's some of that shit. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't threatened nobody, but his decision making was so poor that he just kept putting himself deeper and deeper into the hole with some of the stuff he was doing. That's my only character rant. I just had to get that out the way. And really my only negative on the show. And it's not really a negative because that's just his character being that way. Yeah, his character being that way is what set up a lot of major plot points. You know what I'm saying? If his character hadn't made some of those decisions, we don't get some of the scenes we get, which are some of the best scenes in the show. That doesn't change the fact that he was a liability more than an asset. In all this whole little story of us trying to get Pennywise, he was a liability from start to finish. At no point was he helpful. Like, that's really my main rant about Hank Grogan. His daughter, on the other hand, she's solid. That nigga right there, liability. And if I am ever in a situation, you said what?
Was he married as well, or was he just?
No, I don't remember what they said happened to Ronnie's mother. But she's not in the show at all. I don't know if she passed or what. But she's not a part of the picture as far as the show is concerned.
Derry.
Hey, I mean, the rest of them should have too, honestly. But no, I do think that this show has just about everything you could want out of a prequel show tied to a movie. Because I know we went through like a phase where we kept getting like TV show versions of films that were like either reboots or like loosely connected to the movies. This is what, huh?
True Lies.
SWAT, Lethal Weapon.
SWAT is still
Minority
going.
Report. Like this happened a few times.
They brought SWAT back.
Yeah.
I think it's going again.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon was good. The first season was good.
Okay. I didn't watch the Lethal Weapon shows. Well, I did watch a couple episodes. I take that back. I did watch a couple episodes of Lethal Weapon. But I think this is arguably probably the best version of any show doing that, at least that I've seen. If you can think of a better one, let me know.
That's what I'm trying to think now, because
this is up there.
I wouldn't even, after you said like movie to TV. Well, technically, SWAT is a TV show based on a movie based on a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
But I wouldn't have thought of SWAT. I wouldn't have thought of Lethal Weapon. I wouldn't have thought of whatever the fuck else, Minority
Report. Yeah. People forget that they made a show out of that.
And now that you say it, because it was on Fox.
Yeah. No,
I think they do that a lot, I think.
There was like a run where there was like a shooter. There was like a period of time where like that was like a thing. It felt like Transporter. Like it felt like we just kept getting those. Like, well, did they make it? They make a Transporter show, right?
Yeah, you're really good at this because I cannot think of TV shows based on movies right now.
I just remember this era because I just remember it was happening like back to back. Like it was so many of them, and it was like it was
good or not.
They were like all within like a year or two.
What'd you say before Shooter? Oh, Shooter. I think Shooter was good for the most part. I'm trying TV shows based on movies.
Yeah, this is the best example of that, in my opinion. even the ones that are good, this is better than the ones that are good. I think if we get a season 2 and 3 of this, and if season 2 or 3 are at the same quality as season 1, this is going to be a better show than Stranger Things, which is what
Okay,
a lot of people are comparing it to as well.
I'm ready to say you're a liar.
You ready to say I'm a liar? That
I've
this is the
never
best
watched.
one?
Yeah, I've never watched Friday Night Lights, but I've heard it's a masterpiece.
I have heard about Friday Night. I haven't seen the Friday Night Lights show either. I've seen the movie, but not the show.
Fuck it, Cobra Kai.
I haven't watched Cobra Kai. I haven't watched Cobra
So
Kai.
I'm gonna throw these two. Cobra Kai. What We Do in the Shadows is supposed to be really good. I haven't watched it yet. It's on
Mm-hmm.
my queue list. But Cobra Kai,
Mm-hmm.
and then probably the Fargo.
Fargo is a good argument.
So, and again, it's hard for me to judge it because I haven't seen it. Welcome to Derry. But
Fargo's a good
Fargo
argument. I
is
haven't seen Fargo in
fucking
its entirety, but what I've seen from Fargo is really good.
every season. The first season by itself,
Yeah.
fucking massive. The
Mm-hmm.
second season slowed down for me a little bit with Ian McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really that much of a fan, but it was good. Season 3 with fucking what was this? Chris Rock and somebody else. Which again, it's like whenever you see Chris Rock in something that's not funny, it's like seeing Samuel Jackson with hair. Like I don't
Yeah.
expect it, but it was good. Like
Yeah.
the shit is crazy good, and the way that they all can, like say, so how this connects to that. I haven't seen a Fargo movie, but the way that all the seasons connect to each other without being connected to each other,
Mm-hmm.
it's fucking amazing. So,
Yeah. Which is probably what they're gonna do with this, honestly. That's a good point. Like
because you
connecting
said
the
it's
seasons
gonna go back
together.
to the 30s, so
Yeah. And like and they reference the events of the upcoming or was rumored to be the upcoming seasons
mhm.
in this show. Like they talk about how in the 30s and 40s there was this bank robbery that a bunch of people got killed because Pennywise feeds off of that, which is partly why Derry is such a fucked up town. That's why the adults there kind of just let the kids run amok, and that's why all these kids can go missing without like the town just raising all the red alarms in the world. Like what the fuck is happening? Like Pennywise, his presence creates just like a sense of fear and disillusion throughout the entire town where like it infects the people and their actions and the way they behave and the way they treat each other. You know what I'm saying? So every so many years in Derry, especially whenever Pennywise wakes up, there's like a mass tragic event. So this show is kind of like focusing on those mass tragic events is basically the way I'm taking it. And you see references to that even in the intro to the show, the theme song. They'll show you like still images, like cartoon animated images of these mass casualty events that have happened in Derry that Pennywise has had a hand in creating. So I think really that's what season 2 and season 3 are going to focus on.
we might have to do a TV shows to movies or movies to TV shows because I'm looking at this.
You going down the rabbit hole
I'm
right
going
now?
down the rabbit hole. Apparently, Westworld was the movie.
Really? I didn't know that.
You know, in 1973. Didn't even wasn't even thinking about this. Andor, fucking
Oh, duh.
any of the Star
I
Wars
forgot about
properties,
Andor. Nah,
fucking
I ain't gonna lie.
Clone Wars.
I ain't gonna lie. When I said this is the best one, I forgot about Andor. I did forget about Andor. I ain't
They
gonna
got
lie. I will give you
Stargate
that one.
SG-1. It's so much shit on here. Some of it is cartoons.
Yeah.
It's a long list of shit. I don't know. I think this might be a good one. I forgot about what you was talking about movies and TV.
Mm-hmm.
Limitless had a TV show.
Limitless did have a TV show. I forgot about Limitless the movie, let alone the show. You just reminded me of both of them.
It ran for one season, and it was connected to the movie because Bradley Cooper was in it, and he played a senator at this point. Man, shit. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been quite a few. It's been quite a few. You just reminded me of something that I forgot about actually. So we've had a long list at this point. This is up there though. I ain't gonna say it's the best because now you reminded me of a lot that I forgot about. But this is up there. This is up there. This is definitely up there. If I were to rate the whole season, slight drum roll, I'm gonna say 9. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm
When was
gonna
the
give this
best
season a 9 out of
episode?
10. Episode 7. And that's
Training
another
Day.
yeah. Huh?
There was the Training Day show.
No, there wasn't. You lying.
Yes, I watched it. Who was the actor in it? I'm pretty sure. He died. It was like it takes place after the movie Training Day.
Well, like, so it takes place in the same world as the movie.
Yeah, it takes place in the same. It takes place like 10 years after. Bill Paxton was the lead detective.
R.I.P.
He was
Bill Paxton.
he was kind of he was the
Yeah,
dirty cop in this one.
yeah. R.I.P. Bill Paxton. Damn, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I'm gonna look into that after this.
It's
But
already spelled correctly. But yeah,
yeah, I'm a look into that. I did not know that existed.
But you said
That's
season
crazy.
7.
No, yeah, episode 7 is, I think, the best episode. That's the black spot episode with the Center's Juke Joint
Okay.
action. Yeah, I think that's the best episode. That's the episode where you see the stakes be the highest, and that's where you see Pennywise be the most ruthless. And I think that's the episode where Dick Halloran showcases the most of his powers and his shining abilities. And that's another thing I want to give this show credit for. A lot of times, TV shows, especially when they're really, really good, don't always stick the landing. I'm looking at you, Game of Thrones. Like, as time goes on, you may not stick that last episode of the season or that last season right. You know what I'm saying? And this show got better as it went along. Each episode, it got better and gave you more and more and made you more engaged, to the point where episode 7 and episode 8 are the two best episodes of the season, which is typically not what you say about a TV show. You usually don't end up saying the last two episodes were the best when it was at its absolute peak. But episode 7, episode 8, phenomenal. That finale, amazing. Some of the best scenes in the show are going to be from that finale. So I want to give this show credit just all around, from directing, acting, character development, storytelling, lore building with Pennywise, and then performances with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. This show was almost flawless on a lot of the key points it needed to be on. Does it have its problems here and there? Maybe, if I wanted to nitpick, but not many that I really feel like calling out in this review. This show was phenomenal, and I'm sticking with my 9 out of 10. This is one that I think people really need to show some love and support to. I get it, like, it's a horror show that is very graphic, and you know what I'm saying, that's not going to be everybody's bag. But if horror is your thing, if you are a horror fan, I think this is a show that you're going to resonate with. This show has kind of got, taken off in popularity. That's really all I've been seeing people talk about
Yeah,
for
a lot
like
of
the
people.
past couple weeks. And rightfully so, because this show knocks it out the park in so many different aspects. And I'm glad they brought back Andy Muschietti to direct a lot of the episodes, because he was one that directed the films as well. So there's that consistency. It doesn't really feel like you're watching two separate universes. It feels like the same Pennywise and the same universe from the films, just more fleshed out and more detailed. Do you have anything else to add or any other questions before we close this
I
one
mean,
out, brother man?
only telling us where people can watch it at.
Strictly on HBO Max. It's not on any other platform, to my knowledge. So I'm pretty sure that's the only place you all can get it right now. But yeah, all 8 episodes are out now, so you don't have to wait week to week like I was doing for the next episode to come out if you haven't seen it yet. And this is definitely one that when you start it, you're gonna lose all productivity for the rest of the day, because you're gonna watch the first one and then you're gonna go, okay, I had to see 2, and then 2 is going to end, and then next thing you know, you binge watch 5 episodes in a row. Like, that's the quality of show that this is. So if you all have seen it, Welcome to Derry, let us know your thoughts on it. Does it really add to the experience of watching the films? Because I'm going to go back and watch the movies after this, just because of how much more detail about Pennywise we have now, and I want to watch the movies with that context. So let us know what you think about the show. Do you think it's better, worse, or about the same as where the films are at? Always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. And until the next time, this is the Real Junkies. Peace.